The year 75 BC, set in Rome, a young Julius Caesar, uprising from a very famous family, only 25 years old, was traveling across the Aegean Sea near the coast of Asia Minor, off the shore of modern-day Turkey. He was on his way to Rhodes to study oratory under Apollonius Molon, a master of rhetoric. He was there to learn charisma, speech, and power, but fate had other plans. Pirates, Cilician pirates, infamous for preying on wealthy Romans. They spotted his ship. They quickly overran the vessel, taking Caesar and a few others hostage. They didn't realize who they just captured. To them, Caesar was simply another aristocratic Roman worth a huge ransom. But they were wrong, and this wrong unfortunately killed them. The pirates demanded 20 talents of silver, roughly 620 kilograms of silver, which was a huge sum, worth millions in today's currency. But for some reason, Caesar was offended by their low estimation of his value. His ego insisted that they raise the ransom to 50 talents, close to 1,300 pounds of silver. That is tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions, worth of silver. He even sent some of his men to gather the money while he remained willingly among his captors. Caesar wasn't trembling in fear. In fact, he treated them more like employees than captors. He ordered them around, shushed them when he wanted to sleep. He read speeches to them in poetry. He mocked them. He participated in their games, exercised with them. He drank with them, ate with them, laughed with them. But he also ordered them, which was strange, but it just showed that he was not to be messed with. The pirates found it funny. They thought a young aristocrat was trying to boss them around, but they were hardened pirates. But they had one mistake. This wasn't all fun and games in Caesar's eyes. Caesar made a promise, a dark promise, a serious one. Once he was free, he would return and have every last one of them crucified. The pirates, amused by his arrogance and charm, they laughed. They laughed hard. They thought he was joking, but Caesar was dead serious. They had no idea how far young man would go to keep his word. Julius Caesar had a huge ego, and his pride was not to be defended, or was not meant to be defeated. After 38 grueling days, Caesar's associates returned to him with the 50 talents. Keep in mind, this is life-changing money for even modern people. The pirates released him, unaware that their lives were now in borrowed time. Caesar wasted no time, however. Keep in mind, the pirates could have fled to India, the Middle East, Japan, or China. They could have fled to southern Africa, but they were fools. They stayed off the coast of Turkey. Within days, Caesar recruited a militia. He set up a cell with one goal: revenge. He hunted the pirates down and caught them, every last one of them. They hadn't moved far, like fools. They didn't believe a young aristocrat could pose any threat. They thought he was a brat from a famous family. They were wrong. Captured and chained, the pirates now faced the very man who they once slept among them and joked with them. They kind of they thought of him as a friend in some sorts. They spent so much time with him, and it wasn't bad time either. Caesar brought them to the authorities in the province of Asia, likely modern-day Turkey or the Holy Land. But the governor there hesitated. There's laws, there's protocol, bureaucracy. They had a system of democracy, and that was just not allowed. Like in modern day, they sort of had a right to a court and a jury. He did not want to execute them. He kind of thought of making profit off them. Crucifixion was a Roman punishment reserved for the worst criminals. So what did Caesar do? Took matters into his own hands. Illegally, of course, acting without official orders. He had the pirates crucified just as he had promised. He had drugged them brutally out of their jail cells. But Caesar was not without mercy, sort of. He ordered their throats slit before the crucifixion began to spare them the prolonged agony of slow death. Crucifixion takes days, and these days are grueling with hunger, thirst, mockery, and pain. This strange act of compassion was less about pity and more about control. Caesar wanted to demonstrate something important, that his word was law, and he did not have to obey law. Mercy was his to give, not theirs to ask for. He was no longer just a nobleman. He was a man to be feared. This encounter was more than a bizarre pirate adventure. It was a foreshadowing. It showed the Roman world the ambition and resolve of the man who would later march an army across the Rubicon, declare himself dictator for life, and change the course of history. Caesar's response to humiliation wasn't retreat, it was dominance. He didn't just escape the danger, he was the danger. He turned it into a story of conquest. This was a man who would not be underestimated ever, ever again. Long before he ever wore a laurel wreath or crossed blades with Pompey, Julius Caesar was already writing his legacy in blood, silver, and fire. The pirates had made a mistake that would echo for centuries. They saw a young man and thought him weak. They didn't see the future ruler of Rome. They didn't see the mind that would crush Gaul, outmaneuver rivals, and challenge the Senate itself. They saw a rich boy. That miscalculation cost them their lives. But, in a way, Caesar's arrogance also cost him his life later on. In the grand story of Caesar's life, his betrayals, his battles, and bold declarations, this pirate episode is just a footnote, a beginning, but it tells you everything about who he was: strategic, ruthless, and charismatic. He had a silver tongue, the kind of man who would get kidnapped by pirates and then make them regret ever touching him. In a world of emperors, assassins, war, corruption, greed, and pirates, of course, Caesar stood apart. Even before he ever ruled a single city, he was already unstoppable. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I put a lot of effort into this video, and I messed up a lot of times. This audio recording took me forever. Please comment input. Did you like the video? Any types of videos you want? But for now, this was Lost History. History you won't learn in school. Bye.